Welcome to the Circuit of Success Podcast.
The Circuit of Success Podcast.
With your host,
Brett
Gilliland.
Brett Gilliland, Visionary Wealth Advisory.
The Circuit of Success Podcast. Let's start the show.
Welcome to the Circuit of Success. I'm your host, Brett Gilliland. Today, I've got Dr. Robb Kelly with me. Robb, how you doing, my man?
Doing, man. Fantastic, guys. Good to be here, Brett.
Awesome. How's San Antonio, Texas right now? Nice and warm?
It's sunny. It's beautiful. It's God's country as far as I'm concerned. But as you can tell by my accent, guys, I'm not from San Antonio. I'm from Richmond. No, I'm not. I'm from the UK, Manchester. But great to be here, guys.
Great to have you, man. So you are Dr. Robb Kelly, a renowned addiction expert, born and raised in Manchester, UK, as an eccentric, no-holds-bar, successful, places his patients first kind of man. He's Meadows trained in trauma and holds a double PhD. That's a big deal. So at least there's 2 PhDs on this podcast right now. That's the big deal. Anyway, I try to be funny. I'm not really that funny, but anyway, I always like to start with this stuff. Robb, what has helped make you the man that you are today?
Well, I've got to go back to my alcoholism and homelessness and being brought up on the projects and lack of money and, you know, all that poverty stuff that I came through. And eventually, because of my drinking, end up on the streets. Biggest lesson ever, you know, you take away all the colleges and degrees and stuff. I mean, that's where I did my true learning of what life's all about. So the thought pattern coming out of that, Brett, was this: what have I got to lose? What can you do to me that I haven't already done to myself? So I'm going to sign that $1 million lease for that building that people think I'm crazy in the Highland Park, Dallas, because again, I've got nothing to lose, you know, and I think that is my driving force.
It's amazing. So did you get all the stuff like the doctor, the PhDs and all that stuff and then become homeless, or what, like talk through that?
Yeah, I went to college. Lucky enough, it was a fluke. I know a friend of a friend. It was a Freemason that I helped him out. So, you know, I didn't go the normal way. But my second, so psychology was my first. My second PhD was only done about, I want to say 10 years ago. And I went back again and did a second PhD in behavioral science, just so I could use the new software, which was Zoom, online to understand people, the movements, the eye movements, you know, stuff like that. So you don't have to sit in front of me for me to get the full knowledge of what you're going through. 90-something% of communication is non-verbal. So that's how I got the both.
That's cool. What are you finding right now with all the people you're working with? I mean, thousands and thousands of people, obviously. The changing of minds, right? So if you look at it from an entrepreneur side, I have multiple businesses, but my main business is Visionary Wealth Advisors, a wealth management firm. And I think that people, as they go down the journey of life, right, we can kind of get in our minds a mindset. So what are you doing right now to help the busy, successful people change their minds maybe and help them start to believe bigger and dream bigger? Most
entrepreneurs that come to me have limited beliefs. And the limiting beliefs stem back to childhood and enmeshment and learned behavior. So most of us can be certain type of successful, but never take it to the next level. So what we're seeing is about 45%. Oh, and by the way, guys, everything I say on here, we've researched, we've tried, we've spent over $1 million on our researches and stuff. 45 to 55% is what people normally attain during a lifetime. You can get to 100%. We just have to see what's going on with you. Most of it, again, is limited belief, never good enough, tall enough. Imposter syndromes come in when you get the average person being successful. And the brain will always self-sabotage that, because at the end of the day, I'm never tall enough, blonde enough, thin enough, or rich enough. That's a measurement as well. So we get to a certain point and we self-sabotage. The problem with that is we self-sabotage from the subconscious brain, not the conscious brain. So we don't even know we're doing it, but business will go quiet. It's like we're just doing some work with a huge real estate company now. And there are 100,000 houses in San Antonio and a little bit beyond that are for sale. One person there, you need 5 a month. Why are we not doing 5 a month? Well, I can only do 2. It's that kind of mindset, you know, there's a recession on. If you've got this right, if you've got the mind right, there's no such thing as recessions. I don't believe it. We've never suffered from a recession yet with this company and the others that I run. There's always somebody selling something, there's always something wanting something, and there's always lots of money around. You just need the mindset to go after that and make it happen and not fall in with the crowd. They're going, well, we're going to have a bad month. Well, you are now, because when we look at the intricacy of the mind, what we tell it is what we believe. So if you're going around going, well, you're right, you're not going to do anything. You've got to go in, understand how the brain works, understand how the central nervous system works, and understand that everything is out there for you. You know, years ago when I came here, I used to say to people trying to emphasize, you can be anybody you want in the world. And the first thing they said back to me is, I can't be president of the United States. Now, let's forget our political views for a second. We had a business and run the country with no political experience whatsoever. Don't dare tell me you can't achieve your dreams. Somebody's put that there.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you change that though? I mean, that takes time, right? You can't just say that on the podcast today and somebody listening, maybe it changes them, but what's that process to work through that like?
Well, the starting thing is if you come and see me, you've changed within 45 minutes. That's the deal. See, that's another myth around becoming successful or pushing your business or life or family to a different level, is everybody thinks it takes time, and it doesn't. I can rewire a brain in 45 minutes. I've done it 11,500 times with patients I've done. So that's a big myth. We use lots of tools here, like we have what I design as the Breath Box, which is a subliminal messaging software tool that we use. We use NLP, psychology, behavioral science, lots of subliminal messaging from day one that just lets you rethink of who you are and what your real identity is. Most people lose their identity. It's the marriage, it's the job, it's the kid. Nobody really knows your true identity. So when we find our true identity, when we realize who we are, we sort the childhood trauma out and the traits of today and limited beliefs, you become a very dangerous person.
And how do they go about working with you on something like that?
Well, most of our stuff is done online. It's telehealth, 90%. Or if you're in San Antonio, Dallas, Manchester, England, London, Switzerland, or Spain, then you can come into the office. But it's very effective. Telehealth is very effective. So you'd come on, depending on what you're going through. We like to do 90 days because chemical resets after 90 days, 1 day a week. So it's an hour a day for 90 days. Now, if you come and already started a business that's doing well, but you want to take it to the next level, then we can drop you down to 2 or 3 days a week. The guarantee is always the same. That at the end of the deal that you come on for, you will be where we planned you would be. And I used to offer a money back guarantee, and nobody's ever taken money off me because we guarantee our work. But my wife says I can't do that, unfortunately, because there's always one person that'll try and come after us. But my work speaks for itself. We love changing minds, rerouting pathways away from self-sabotage. What a lot of people don't know, Brett, is 300 neural pathways die every day in the brain. What are you replacing them with? Are you replacing them with old beliefs that you'll never be anybody? Are you replacing them that you can't start an empire? Please don't say business, guys. I'll give you a website and a business card. All of a sudden, you've got a business. We don't build businesses here. We build empires. And if you're not ready to build an empire because you have to pass an assessment before we take you on, then you're not our guy.
I'm writing that one down. We don't build businesses. We build empires. It's funny.
Who wants to build
So it's funny. I used to do this goal planning, and you know what? Let's walk through this, and you can tell me if this is right or wrong. It worked, so I think it was right. But let's dissect this a little bit. So when I was a young financial advisor, and then I was a young managing director, I held a firm and I had people and all this stuff, and I would every November I would go away on my own and I would create a goal plan for the next year. Okay. And I would dream and I would strategize, and here's what it's going to look like, and here's where I was going to live, and this is the impact we were going to make, and blah, 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 all this stuff. Right. And then I would put 2 columns, and by every single thing that I wanted to do, I would put a bet the farm column. Like, I'll bet the farm I'm doing this. And then I would have a column, and it was called Build the Empire. So it's funny you're saying this. And I would go out, and that's where I would think big. And that's where I was like, there's no way we're going to do this. There's no way, some of that limiting belief would hit it. But as I would work through it, and then I would start to come up with 3, 4, 5, 10 ways that I'm going to do it, and we're going to bet the farm, and we're going to build the empire. It was amazing how many times we hit the goal of build the empire.
Yeah, the subconscious brain wakes up in the morning because of lack of oxygen. So the subconscious brain thrives in hypoxic situations. That's why no one's woke up laughing during when they wake up from sleep, no oxygen. Subconscious brain kicks in. Unless you get rid of that guy right around then and absolutely throw into the conscious brain, which is oxygen, the presence of oxygen equals the lack of disease. We only breathe
The
45% of
present
our
of the say that again.
the presence of oxygen equals a lack of disease. So every disease in the human body, including cancer, start in a hypoxic area of the body. So when we're coming out of the conscious brain, anything is possible. The quantum physics backs us up here. So if you're saying, I want to build this, but we can do this, but I mean, you can do it. It's going to take you longer than when you believe. So if I tell you a lie now, Brett, you might believe it, you might not. If I tell you often enough, you're going to believe it. But guess what? If I tell you real often enough, I'm going to start to believe it. The brain doesn't know the difference between the truth and the false. It really doesn't. So if we convince me and I've got people around me that believe in my dream, it becomes a reality. Period. There's no other way about it. But because of the stuff that we go through, there's always something there that'll self-sabotage. There's always a voice in your head from the childhood trauma. You know, I had it when I started to work with celebrities and CEOs of, oh my God, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? But the more work you do and understand the brain, the more successful you will be, the more emotional available you will be for family, friends, girlfriends, husbands. It's just the way neuroscience is. So what's the success to business? Neuroscience. That's it. You don't have to go training schools. You don't have to listen to certain big mouth entrepreneurs shouting from the stage who wants to be a millionaire. That's not going to do it. It's not going to do it at all. I just opened a restaurant next door. Okay. Full blown restaurant. We had no experience whatsoever. I brought my sister over to help me run it and my brother in law. We had zero. No one's ever cooked in a restaurant. Are you kidding me? We hired people that had never done. We're the most successful restaurant right now in San Antonio. Why? Because we convinced ourselves we were. The rest
Give
is
it a plug. What's the name of it?
The Old English Tea Shop in San Antonio. We serve British food, bangers and mash, fish and chips, all that great stuff. Scones, high teas. We're all doing it over there. So yeah.
It's awesome. I love it. So what makes you think that you can do that, right? So I want to spend time on that. We have a lot of similarities there. So right over here, my shoulder, you can't see. I just built a members only speakeasy. Come up. It's got a hidden entrance. Never been in that business before. I don't know anything about running a speakeasy, right? But we did it and it's been super successful and it's a freaking awesome spot. I'm a little biased, obviously. But what is it about you and I from a doctor level, right? The deep, deep level for our listeners, other than just believing that we can do it, we will not fail. We're going to give it hell trying, right? Like, what is it? Why are we doing that? Let's dissect that as well.
We have strong beliefs that we can do anything, and it usually again comes from people around us as we grow up. If you hang around a bad crowd, you become a bad person. If you hang around 9 depressed people, you become the 10. So we've had some kind of grooming around us, and we've really looked at our past and use it as our gift going forward. That if you really look at life today, nothing is impossible. Can you remember when people, you're too young for this, Brett, but they always told everyone in the world that the 4 minute mile the human being
Yeah.
cannot run. And yet Bannister did it. And then a load of other people, the Wright brothers, all these people can be more successful, but you have to let go of the past and believe in the now. Our world is the now. And again, 300 neural pathways die. What we're doing, me and you, is we're putting positive pathways in that anything's possible. That belief system in itself is the most powerful thing a human being can have. It's like, well, I say to people all the time, well, I can't do this. Okay, we go to court tomorrow, Jimmy. You bring all the evidence that you can't build a bar, a restaurant. Bring all the evidence you have. I'll bring all the evidence that you can. And do you know what will happen, Jimmy? The judge will throw you out of court for lack of evidence. See, the definition of insanity is me not being able to see my own truth. And when people see their own truth, you can build empires. Don't listen to the naysayers. Look, get rid of that guy. You've got to have everybody around you that believes in your mission. Everyone around you that's positive mindset. If you're on 40 grand a year and you want to earn 80, you have to run around the guys that want to earn 80 and find out their mindset. around it that you believe nothing is impossible. Can man fly? You can't say they can't. It's just not time for us to do that, maybe. So with that mindset, you can build anything you want to build and you can be anybody you want to be. I must remember in my early stages, I must have been 16, 17, I met Arnold Schwarzenegger and we picked him up for the airport and we were staying with him in the hotel, made sure he got to these speaking engagements on time. And I asked him a question once. I said, this bodybuilding is great, Arnold, but what are you going to do after that goes? And he said, I'm going to do three things. It's brilliant. What are they? So I'm going to be the highest paid movie actor in the world. Well, I nearly fell off the chair. I think his English is bad now. He couldn't hardly speak it. I said, okay, what's the next one? And he said, I'm going to become a governor of a state, preferably California. And this was in the 80s. I'm like, okay, well, I thought you had to be a citizen, but okay. I said, well, the third one. He says, I'm going to marry into the Kennedy family. Check, check, and check. And that right there is what set me off is, oh my God, how powerful is this mind? What do people don't know about the mind and the brain? And after I come off the streets, I aggressively threw myself into studying the brain and what we can really do and the energy and the vibration that we act at and the communication and how come we get in with some people, we don't get in with them people. And I got really deep into what's going on with the mind over matter. The mind programs the brain every morning when you follow my routine. This guy here, unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I love this. So first off, thank you for sharing all this. And I 100% believe what you're talking about because the circuits of success, hence the name of the podcast we're on, it's your attitude, your belief system, what we're talking about, and the action that you take ultimately gets you the results. And without those, with a crappy attitude, right, you're not going to be successful. With a lack of belief, you won't be successful. And without action. So let's say you have a great attitude. Let's say you have a great belief system, but you just sit around the couch all day. Nothing's going to happen. You're not going to get the results. And that's what this whole podcast is about. So let's talk to that man or woman right now that's like, you know what? I think I kind of believe what Brett and Dr. Robb are talking about here. But wait, how do I grow my belief? How do I build that belief system to get better day in and day out?
The first thing that the human mind loves is routine. The subconscious mind loves sitting on the couch and doing nothing. So you have to have a routine. What we do tomorrow when we get up is we have to get up a certain time every day. So let's say it's 7 a.m. and we go to bed at 10. I want you guys to write 5 things every morning that you're going to do that day, no matter what happens. Now, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, brilliant. Put them 5 things down that you're going to easily complete that day. As we go through the day, there's a million tasks to be done, but you've completed them 5. What you're saying to the conscious brain is, whatever I touch turns to gold. When I set my mind out to do something, hey, I accomplished it today. And this simple task, and as the weeks go on, make them tasks more unattainable, but you've still got to class them out. So we have that program, that routine in our lives. And the belief system alone comes from family trauma. Everybody has childhood trauma, by the way. Everybody, you might not recognize it, but you do. It's imperative you go back and sort that out before it sorts you out. That's the key to success. You don't want them limited beliefs. You don't want that thought pattern that you shouldn't be there. You don't want the thought pattern of failing. And this is where most people don't do it. Most people do not like to fail. You look at some of the prettiest girls around, they very rarely get approached in bars by guys because they hate the rejection. But then you look at rejection in business, go, well, I failed twice. So, I mean, talk to J.K. Rowling. Talk to the Beatles. Ask them how many times they failed. See, it's not a failure. It's a learning curve for you to take on board and move forward. Because when you are successful, and you will be if you join our program, then you don't want to get in that situation where the mind hasn't been primed. And what I say by that is when people come here, what we do is during the treatment, we will take you, if you're an average guy that will help build an empire, we'll take you to the Porsche dealership. We'll drive around in one of the 911s GT3 for 200 grand, and we'll drive back and drop it off. Then next, I'm going to take you to the $1 million house on the hill. And what that does is it primes the brain for the future. So when you finally get the money to buy that car, when you walk up to it, the brain is going, whoa, hang on, oh my God, 200 grand. What the brain does is, this is familiar. This feels comfortable. And it's the same thing with everything we do in life. If you don't prime that situation, you will freeze when you come to that situation, like the signing the check for the agreement for the $10 million to Bill. You will freak out unless you've been born into money, and you will always self-sabotage in crazy ways that you don't call self-sabotage, but in 3 months' time, that business opportunity or that business itself is gone. You have to come down to what we call the 7.3-second rule. And that is, if I'm sat on the sofa tonight, Brett, I've got a big, can of Coke and a big packet of chips. I do neither, by the way. And I see Arnold Schwarzenegger on the TV, and I turn to my wife, thinking of going to the gym tomorrow. I ain't going to the gym. I know it. She knows it. The two dogs know it. Even the cat's walking by going, yeah, dude, you're not going to the gym tomorrow. But within that 7.3 seconds, if I get up, go to the bedroom, put my sneakers and my top, take it either to the car or near the door and walking out, there's a good chance of me going. So even if an idea comes to you, you have to move. You have to write it down. If you're in the shower, get out, write it down. Don't put it on voice and don't say, I'll remember later. You have to write it down. When the mind and the pen and the paper come into contact with each other, something magical happens. Because when you look down at that paper, it's no longer a thought pattern, it's wrote down. And as soon as it writes down, it becomes a true belief of yours, and it becomes something that you can achieve. It's the craziest thing, but you convince the mind. If you want to go back and look at the past and how you think it hasn't served you, and you want to write some memories, write it with the non-dominant hand. And you'll see the truth starting to come out, the stuff that you didn't even know before. Trying some brain spotting, trying some 9-dimensional work that we do, crack that stuff out the subconscious mind and find out who you are. And I'm telling you now, guys, every person, unless you've got severe brain damage, can do this. And every single person can build empires. And every single person can be 10 out of 10 every day. That's just it. I'm 10 out of 10. Or how can you become 10 out of 10 every day? Because I know who I am. And I'm not living for what you think. I literally don't give a shit what you think about me. And people say that because words are hurtful, but I get to my point in my life where I really don't. I really don't, And again, dangerous person. The belief system, get your chin up, get your chest out. It's you. If you listen to this program, it's you that's going to become that leader. And get up, you can do better.
Nice. Silence is writing stuff down here for those listening. So freaking awesome. Couldn't agree more. As I keep saying, I'm excited. Next month is my 20th anniversary of starting to journal. So you talk about writing it down, right? I have the same black journal. I've had it since July of 2005. I've got my podcast journal, and then I've got my normal Dream Big journal. So last night, Sunday night, sitting by the pool, dreaming, right? Thinking. And it's just so freaking powerful. When I look back at my career and people say, what are the 1 or 2 or 3 biggest things? Journaling is one of the biggest. And I don't mean journaling about, hey, my day, this or that or whatever. People can do that, and that's great. Mine has always been about dreaming and ideas, thoughts, strategies, but then also, I would argue, a lot of self-talk of who I am. And then I will read that over and over and over. That's how I built my belief system, was continually day in and day out telling myself who I was. Thoughts on that?
Internal dialogue is powerful, very, very powerful. Like, we're always trying to put ourselves down. Like, I drop a pen on the, oh, you idiot, stop that crap, guys, stop it now. Right now, because what you're telling yourself becomes truth. Oh, I don't think I can do it. You're probably right. I'm definitely going to do it. Yeah, you're probably right. Well, internal dialogue is so important. Nobody's going to tell you that you're amazing. No one's going to tell you the best boss. No one's going to tell you. No one's coming for you, guys. No one's knocking at the door with that $1 million check or that girl or that. Nobody's coming. You have to realize that. But you've been given all the gifts in the world to create this lifestyle that everybody should have. People say, I don't want people to do as good as me, guys. I want you to do better than me. I've only scratched the surface, man. And for a homeless guy, I'm doing pretty good. But every single day, I tell myself that it's possible. I'm going to live the dream. I'm going to compliment 3 people today. I'm going to bless somebody monetary. I'm going to walk out and be that guy that everybody goes, oh my God, I wish he has his lifetime. So my reply is, why haven't you got it? Well, give me one reason why you can't live a lifestyle beyond your wildest dreams. Well, that's an excuse. Give me a reason. Well, that's an excuse. Give me a freaking reason why you can't be the best in the world. On the back of my business cards and website and everything I do, I says the number one doctor in the world. In the world, not in San Antonio. I'm better than anybody else. I have a 98% success rate that's unheard of in the world. I have it. Why? Because I talked myself into it. Well, you can't be the best in the world. Prove me wrong. And my biggest saying is, says who? Oh, you can't come to America and you can't be on TV and Oprah and you can't earn like 20 million. You can't get, says who? Because I don't like the guys that are making these rules. Them rules are for the 1960s or the weak people around who sit on the sofa all day and don't want to do anything. That's your choice. The choice is if you want to be successful, if you want to live the dream, have a happy family, get your kids back, it's 100% possible, man. I guarantee it.
So what's the locker room talk for the guy or gal listening to this right now that's in the dumps? They're like, right now, they're like, this is complete BS. I don't believe it. You know, what challenge do you have for that person that needs, and I mean this in a loving way, like they need us to put our hand down, pull them up by the, their boots, and let's say, let's go. Like, what are we telling them?
Well, first of all, it's you. Okay, stop feeling sorry for yourself. I know you're in bad situations. You're supposed to go through these bad situations, by the way. It's a training period for moving forward. All right. We need to get up and make a move. Decide today what you want. Write it down. Okay. I want to get that manager's job. I want to get that job at the Gap. Write it down. Okay. And start moving towards it. The self-belief. I want you to do 3 things tomorrow morning for the guys when you wake up. It will change your life if you're honest with yourself and you do exactly what I tell you to do. If it doesn't, I can't say this. I used to give $100 back if it didn't. Again, my wife. Get up tomorrow morning. Very, very important that you believe this is it. This is the change today. Enough of the bullshit, guys. Enough of the excuses. Men need to start standing up, and women, and be counted here, okay? And if you're listening to this show, it's you. Tomorrow morning, you wake up in the morning, subconscious brain. Bing! This guy's tired. You can't, I've got to take the kids to school. You get to take the kids to school, by the way. So you've got this subconscious mind, lack of oxygen, boom, he's ready to go. When you get up tomorrow morning, first thing I want you to do before anything else, sit on the side of your bed, and I want you to do 20 exaggerated breaths in and out. We only breathe 45% to 50% of our lung capacity. That's when the subconscious brain loves it, limited beliefs, all that stuff. The only reason you feel good by going to the gym or running and cycling is not the cycle or the weights. It's this in between sets. We've got to get 45% of oxygen, guys, is not good enough. So do the 20, really exaggerate it and feed the body full of oxygen, every single cell. You'll go dizzy. If you don't, you're not doing it correctly. Now, what happens is this bad guy's subconscious brain, okay, well, as soon as you're flooded with oxygen, we get rid of it. It dies straight away. And it looks something like this. There's the subconscious. When we do our work in the morning, bing. Now this guy's running the show, the conscious brain. Now what happens tomorrow is this guy wakes you up again. So this has to be done daily. Walk into the bathroom. Let's start changing some neural pathways and patterns in the brain. If you brush your teeth with your right hand, do a week on the left, week on the right, week on the left, week on the right. After you've done that, step 6 feet. Very important. Away from the mirror. Let's start stuffing that subconscious beliefs, the knee-jerk reactions. Say, I love you 10 times. The reason we stand 6 feet away is the optical illusion that the mind plays. When we get close to the mirror, guys, we're shaving or women putting makeup on, you try and do it there. What we see is all our blemishes when we're close up. So that's subconsciously how we think people see us. Guys, when's the last time you were in the office? Hey, buddy, good to see you. We don't do that. We don't get this close up to people. But when you stand 6 feet away, all the blemishes disappear. That's who you are. That's what people see. Very few people are as unattractive as they think they are. I've just lost 157 pounds over the last 18 months because coming to America, all that stuff, the food was changing. I put the weight on, I got rid of it. Get up, get rid of it one morning. I pulled away from TV because I didn't like the way I looked. Oh, that's vanity. No, it's not. I want to deliver the best message in my best conscious mind today with everything in my body working properly and healthily. So that's what we do. We get up with that belief, do them 3 things tomorrow morning, compliment 3 people daily, and step out of the diseased mind, which is the failure mind, and into solution. And you will change from tomorrow morning. And if you say you don't, it's a physically, biologically impossible not to. Period.
So 20 exaggerated breaths.
Yeah.
And again, this is important. It's funny. I was just having this conversation yesterday with someone. We were talking about breathing treatments, my mother-in-law. And I said, you will go dizzy. And that's a fact. Because the first time it's scary as hell when you get real dizzy and you don't know why. But anyway, 20 exaggerated breaths. First thing you do, get up, brush your teeth with the other hand for 1 week, the other hand the next week, switch off and off and on. And then I love you 10 times to yourself, 6 feet from the mirror. Look yourself directly in the eyeballs and say it. Out loud. I love you.
Out loud. There's 2 things important: voice and writing. Old-fashioned writing, pen to paper.
Yep.
It's a game changer. It's a freaking game changer. If you don't believe that you're the best in the world, how can anybody else do?
Right.
If you don't believe that you can build an app, how can they? If you're not emotionally available for the people around you, how can anybody else be? It starts with you. It's an inside job. I can't make my wife happy, and she can't make me happy. But you know what I can do? I can raise my happiness by raising my serotonin. The problem is in most countries, and I'm American, guys, I'm not from Britain trying to, America's it. No, I'm American, period. Is when we start to get down or depressed, the first thing we do in this country is we head to the doctors. And what happens is he listens to you a little bit, but then is writing you a prescription for an SSRI or a depression med, which is just a false serotonin. He's not asking about your daily plan, your health routine, your wife, your work, he's not asking about that. So then he becomes a high-paid drug dealer. So then you go home with this false serotonin that will stop you performing at your best. The definition in the medical dictionary in America for depression is lack of serotonin. Why aren't we asking the question why my serotonin is low in the first place and addressing that? The more stuff we take, the less chance we have of reaching our peak. We're not meant to take that stuff. You go into the supermarket, watch what you're buying. 90% of stuff in the supermarket is sprayed with cornstarch. If you pick up a health bar or a protein and the first ingredient is canola oil or sunflower oil, throw it away. They're seed oils. They will stop you performing at your best. Stop taking multivitamins for the store. Try and take organic multivitamins. Most multivitamins and vitamins got cyanide in them. You cannot be at your best. Kababbling. You cannot be at your best while you're digesting this stuff, man. You just can't. We're not meant to digest. So this is what happens in reality. There's stuff in our food today that we can't methylate. So when I put something in my mouth, it's not used in that source. It has to be methylated into an energy, a protein that I can use in my body. The problem is 90% of stuff you get from the supermarket today, the store, we can't methylate. When we can't methylate a food or protein, there becomes a deficiency. That deficiency causes the heart problems, the mental problems, that I can't do it, I'm not good enough. So just be sensible, guys. Just have a look at what you're eating. Throw all that into a big dish. Fucking start eating it tomorrow. You'll be good.
Yeah, so solid. How do we raise our serotonin levels naturally?
There's lots of ways. Get out and see some sunshine. Be around happy people. Listen to great music. All that stuff that lifts you to a different level. If you really want, the music is the vibration. So when you go to church, I don't, but if you go to church and the praise band comes on, it's not to play some songs. It's to raise your level of your vibration and frequency to listen to the message. That's it. So play some music. If you really want to take it to the next level, play music with only 2 chords in them. A Whole Lot of Love by Led Zeppelin is one of those. The mind today, 3 or 4 chords, you can play 99% of music is the brain, subconscious or conscious, looking for that third chord. When it only gets two chords, you start to relax, and the body and the mind goes to a different level of relaxation, and your vibration changes.
Again, writing some stuff down here. What do we do when it's hard? You know, there's not every day Dr. Robb Kelly has just a tip-top phenomenal day. You got something, you get some bad news, you got to deal with something.
I get to deal with it. I get to deal with it. Yeah, it's all about the mindset. Can I have a good day every day? Of course. I got paid bills. Did this happen? Did I break my leg? Did my dad die? It's all looking at your perspective on what happened all of the time. People say, oh, you can't be happy every day. Says who? Well, shit happens. Your father died last night. It doesn't make me not. I can mourn. I can grieve, but still be happy in life. Happy with myself. So you get these guys around. You can't be happy every day. What's wrong with you? You're smiling. All this negative stuff. Don't believe in that. If human beings are supposed to live like us. So we have this 9D breathwork therapy. It's headphones and online, and we play these subliminal frequencies and messages. This is what most people do when they come off. They go, what the hell was that? I feel amazing. And what we say to them is, no, you don't. You feel normal. This is how we're supposed to feel. But we grow up in this family of trauma and, watch where your father gets home. And babies are born with two fears, Brett. The fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. The rest are man-made. If you don't pass, it's BS is what it is. Don't let anybody tell you can't get up and have a great day every single day. It's just not true. This is how we're supposed to be living life. Shit happens. And, the homelessness and the loss of my children, ages 1 and 3, and the marriage. And when I look back, that was a learning curve for what I am today. And everything will come back. I had a daughter that was estranged for 30 years. 30 years, Brett. And 4 years ago, the messenger went middle of the night. Now, I'm a concierge doctor, which means I take on 4 patients, not my staff, just me. And the phone goes, I jump. She messaged me in the middle of the night and she says, hey, Dad. And she called me Dad, Brett. And he said, I've seen you on TV. I've heard, don't believe what Mum was telling me on this. I need to see you. I've got something to show you. So we have people around us, as you can imagine. We're on a plane within 4 hours heading back to the UK. We stayed overnight in a hotel. I went next morning with my wife. I was crying. I was sobbing. I couldn't knock on the door. But I knew I was doing right in my life. I was helping people. I was giving 25% of our money goes back into communities, our personal money, and everybody carries a pro bono. So I'm doing the right thing. She opened the door. We hugged. She took me by my hand. She walked me into her living room and she handed me my 3-month-old granddaughter. That girl now is my lead therapist in my Manchester office. Did I think that was always going to happen? I did. And I always thought my youngest would come around. And 6 weeks ago from today, she contacted me. It's the beliefs. If you believe, it will become. And again, how do you get your mind around that, Rob? Well, we experimented. We experimented at a school back in Manchester some years ago, where we went into a friend of mine I was at college with and convinced him that me and 4 scientific guys around me had a test that would tell you the top 3 in your school. And it's been done before, I believe. And he said, come in. So we give them all these papers. They did the test, these 9 to 12-year-olds. We went home. We come back the next day and we said, we have the top 3 in your school. And he said, that's impossible. You're not spoke to the children. We don't have to. Jimmy, Sarah and Bill, are you sure? Yeah, they're going to be leaders of industry. They're going to be they're geniuses. We're back in a year's time. So we went back in a year's time. We said, hey, what's going on? How did you know, Rob? We have to contact the government. This is insane. How did you know it's going to be those 3? They did. I said, well, when we left the school the first time, we trashed them tests. We didn't even look at them. And we chose 3 random people from your school. And because we told you they were genius, so you treated them like geniuses, so they become geniuses. Boom, boom, boom. That's what we do for a living.
So powerful.
Yeah.
So powerful. Where do our listeners find more of you? Like, what's that process look like to work with you?
I don't think working with me, unless, a patient drops out, but my team and everyone around me. If you're listening, not watching, I spell my name with 2 B's, ROBBKELLY.com. Dr. Robb Kelly in any search engine with 2 B's, and we'll come and friend us, come and say hi. We have lots of therapists, coaches, that no matter where you are in the world, we can telehealth you, and we'll get you to a different place after the first session, without a doubt.
I love that. Love the confidence behind that, man. And I love too, I wrote it down here, says who. You said that a lot, right? And
Powerful,
it's like,
man.
says who.
Powerful. I used to, when I was working, I used to go into meetings. There'd be like 5 of us reps outside to go into to get one contract. And I would convince them, even in the restroom, that they need to go home because they were wasting their time because the contract was mine. And it worked 9 out of 10 times. You know, you can't, says, you can't write a book. That's what I got told in Dallas from my friend. You can't write a book. Don't be silly. Moved to San Antonio 4 years ago, thinking of writing a book. My new friends were like, what? You haven't wrote a book yet? What's wrong with you? So I wrote a book. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
Yeah. What's the thing you're working on right now that you're most excited about for the future?
The Alzheimer's and dementia thing that we came across. Both parents, me and my wife, died of Alzheimer's and dementia. And we just knew from our research of neuroplasticity and how the brain works and the mind that we're missing something, just like we did in addiction, just like we did with depression, anxiety. There's something missing. So we started researching with the new software we have. And within the last 6 months, we've seen a 13% increase of short-term memory, which is mind-blowing. So we're actually speaking to people in the government right now going, hey, look what we found. So that excites me.
That's a big deal, man. What if they tell you can't do it?
That's impossible. Everything's possible.
Trick question.
Yeah, says
you. Dr. Robb,
we've been to everywhere. We've been everywhere for this, and we've been to the best of the best. I'm not sure. Says who? Boom.
Yeah. Love it. What a podcast, man. Dr. Robb Kelly, ROBB, Robb Kelly. You are the man. Thank you so much for your time today. Stick on with me here when the screen goes dark, and appreciate you being on the Circuit of Success.
Thank you, man.